It's slowly but surely we've been having to admit something about the Chicago Bears team. And for old school Bears fans like myself, people who've been Bears fans for 20, 30 years, it's not that it's uncomfortable, it's just different. And that is that the Chicago Bears are finally built around its offense. Like that's such a difference. Like when you typically have looked at any Bears team that's been good, that's been great, you typically look at like the defense. It's always the defense with the Chicago Bears. But now the fact that it's Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, the offensive line, like the Bears are really built around their offense now. We're going to talk a little bit about that, how the Chicago Bears became a team that's built around their offense, and how the defense can overcome the injuries at the start of the season if guys don't come back from being injured, and who are the players that are going to need to step up the most. We're going to take a look at all that, plus dive into the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow us at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today, y'all. Bears history tells us something, right? The history of the Chicago Bears tells us something that is defense first, right? But this roster, when you look at it, it tells you something completely different. This is a roster that's built around its offense. I named the guys at the top of the show, like when you have Caleb, when you have Ben Johnson, when you have the, Colston Loveland, who is probably going to be the best tight end in football here shortly, right? You have the depth that you have at your wide receiver position with Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, even a guy like Jade Walker. You still got Cole Kmet in this. You got the running backs in Swift and Monangai. Like, this is a team that its talent and its infrastructure is really built around the offense. Now, that shouldn't be too surprising. When the Chicago Bears brought in Ben Johnson, the former offensive coordinator, we knew that the offense was going to take a new precedence that maybe we have not seen the Chicago Bears really have. They try to have it, but never were really able to bring it all together, right? I think now when you look at it too, we have proof that this offense can be explosive, right? The 441 points last season, the 127 explosive plays, right? It's not any more theoretically what this Bears team can be. We've seen it. We've already proven to a degree how explosive it can be. Now, the thing that the Chicago Bears actually need to do, this season is prove that they can take more of the gimmies, that they can take, more of the consistency of moving the ball down the field. We've already seen how we can go in fourth quarters. We've seen what we can do in late drives. We've seen that we can make the explosive plays, right? And it all really starts with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. These are the two players that are now the identity for the Chicago Bears, right? We've been conditioned to look at linebackers. We've been conditioned to look at edge rushers. We've been conditioned to look at safeties. We've been conditioned to look at how our defense has, anytime the Bears have been good to great, it's been our defense that's done that. And now you have a quarterback that was drafted first overall. You have one of the most heralded offensive minds in football, Ben Johnson, here, right? And you have that now here. And so you've surrounded Caleb Williams in what you're supposed to do. That's weapons. Right now, the left tackle position is still a position of concern, majorly because of Ozzie Trapillo's, injury and stuff like that. But you have there. We talked yesterday about how Luther Burden has the potential to unlock everything on this field, right? You look at how Rome Odunze gets easier looks on the outside because of Luther Burden, right? You look at how Colston Loveland can completely terrorize safeties and linebackers, right? Cole Kmet can do a little bit of everything. And Luther Burden has a role here on this team where it's going to be yards after the catch, how he is in motion. He's going to be one of the best, the biggest targets as well in the quick game that we're looking to move towards being a more up-tempo offense. The flexibility that he has to be outside and in the slot, all those type of things, like the easy throws for Caleb Williams. All that stuff is there, and Luther Burden plays a part into that as well. The question now becomes about how far can the Chicago Bears get with being an offensive first team? That is the question that's here, right? When you look at the modern NFL, right, that yes, in the modern NFL, elite quarterbacks, elite play callers, explosive scoring, those are the teams that, that get you there, right? Like, you don't have to win in tough ways of winning 17-13. That's when you're looking at putting up the big scores and winning 31-27, 34-24, 38-30. Like, those are what you're trying to do. And then you look at it, you still get physical in January, right? The weather, right? That's where you need the pass rush. That's where you need the run defense. That's where you need the turnovers, right? And so while this offense is absolutely explosive for the Bears, I don't think anybody can take away from how explosive this offense is shaped to be, all the weapons that we have on the offensive side of the ball, all those type of things, but you still need your defense to be good enough. And so I say this to say this, right, is that even despite how good the Chicago Bears offense is, and the Bears have some things that we've been missing for a while, we have a true offensive infrastructure. That's what we have, and that's from the minds of Ben Johnson, his coaching staff, Press Taylor, right, the offensive coordinator as well, and that's what you have there. You have a real infrastructure on what we can do here, and that's predicated on the weapons that we have, the quarterback that we have, and our offensive line being good enough, right? 2025 also gave us proof and not just hope. Like I said, it's proof that we had in that. The 441 points, right? Those type of things that we looked at. It wasn't just happenstance that we got that. People who like to be Bears naysayers like to say, oh, the Bears' identity was takeaways. No, that was part of the identity of the defense for sure. Nobody's going to take that away. But the Bears' overall identity was the comebacks, the late games, the drives that we were able to go on to, those explosive plays. That's what we were able to do. That's where the Bears were able to make the most consistency at. That's where we made the most headway at. If you're talking about anything that we were best at, it was your offense that ranked top 5 in most categories, right? And so when you look at this, and even what the Bears did, but then you still have a coach in Ben Johnson who's still demanding more from this team. They're not resting on their laurels or based off what they did last year and thinking that that's just going to be good enough coming into this year. No, Ben Johnson has talked about expanding the route trees of Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, right? Coming in and taking that next step as a team. The Bears were explosive last year. Now this season, we have to be efficient. If we add efficiency with the explosive plays that we're able to make, that's what really makes a big determination in this Bears team changing some things, right? And so much like the Bears have let go of the old formula, some things are ingrained in the DNA of a fan base. And in the DNA of a Bears fan base, especially the more longer-term Bears fans, it's you're still looking and loving defense. Bears fans love defense. I've talked about it. I was a running back. I still love defense. You know, part of the reason why I have such a love for defense because I've been a Bears fan my whole entire life, right? So we have to embrace the Bears being offensive-minded first. The modern NFL is built around play callers, is built around quarterbacks, is built around those type of things, and that's fine. But at the same time, the Bears' offense cannot be the whole plan. We have to get there. I'm not saying that defense doesn't matter because I would never say that. Defense absolutely matters, and this Bears defense needs to find a way to be better next season, right? But I am saying this, is that the Bears can have the one thing that this franchise has been chasing forever, and that happens especially if Caleb Williams is the guy, and that's a true franchise quarterback that can lead an offense year in and year out. And let's see if we can get that done this season. Then also looking at this season as well, I got to flip it, and we got to look at the defense, right? Like, the defense is banged up. It's been banged up, and the defense has, by a lot of people, the question is the Bears' defense too thin, right? Here's the thing. There's talent that exists on this defensive side of the ball. There's talent here, right? Health. That's a different part of the conversation. Kobe Bryant's out maybe the entirety of the year. Kyler Gordon is so much uncertainty around what's going to happen with Kyler Gordon, right? Booker is listed as week to week. Javon Dexter has the hamstring injury and reportedly is on the trade block. Davenport, who we just brought up, is just now ramping up as part of his plan, and we're in the last preseason game, right? So when you look at this, I'm looking at players who need to come into this season and who need to have big seasons to stabilize the defense. The first two players that I'm looking at are Xavier Woods and Dylan Thieneman. What they do at the safety position. The safety pairing wasn't plan A. We know that. It was supposed to be Kobe Bryant. It was supposed to be Dylan Thieneman, and I was excited to see that. But this has to work now. You have to find that in this, right? Woods is not there to replace Bryant's upside because he's not there. But he is there to replace the communication, the tackling ability, prevent burst, all right, coming from big plays. Present that. And then when you look at Thieneman, I'm sorry. At this point now, you can't ease into a rookie role. Yes, you're going to be targeted, but you can't ease into that. We need your production right away. Then you also look at a player like Malik Muhammad, who's about to be thrown into the fire because now the nickel isn't just put your third corner out there. The nickel is such a important player because of the run fits, the blitz scheme, the motion that you put on there, the option routes in there as well now in the NFL, right? And so you also look at bunch formations. The nickel is so important in those things, and the mental processing and the consistency and tackling that's going to be there. If Kyler Gordon's not there, you're looking at Malik Muhammad, a rookie who, again, is going to get targeted but has to do a little bit of everything, and that's a lot to put on the plate of a rookie in the NFL, especially in the secondary. And then you're looking at the help from Montez Sweat. Like, when you look at that, we kind of know what Montez is going to be. And Austin Booker being week to week right now, it does change some things. Now, Hopefully, Austin Booker is going to be healthy to go by the start of the season. But even if he is, you still need Dio, Daniel Hardy, right? Mako Davenport to get healthy. You still need that. We're going to need players other than Montez Sweat to show consistency. And even if Montez and Austin Booker do be very consistent this year, if Booker gets closer to that 10 and a half sacks, that's great. But you still need your depth to stand up because Montez is going to be doubled. They're going to chip him. They're going to double him. They're going to dare you to make somebody else beat you on that defensive line, on that edge position, and one of those guys has to do that. And then the Jordan Vandenberg part of it. I get it. Jordan Vandenberg is a rookie, but he keeps climbing, right? First, it was nice 6th-round rookie that has potential. Then it was he may force them to be in the rotation. Now it's starting to be, especially with Javon Dexter not healthy in the trade rumors, now it's about to be, hey, Rook, we may actually start you and need you. You may be a needed part of the Chicago Bears defense. That's a part that's in there, right? Jordan Vandenberg has officially graduated from a fun preseason story and draft pick to now a player that may be part of exactly what we're trying to do with this team and that why you cannot overlook him. So I think when you look at those players, as well as in the secondary, Josh Blackwell, Terrell Smith, who reportedly Terrell Smith has had a not the strongest training camp. You need these guys to stand up. And you need these guys to be able to provide something. This defense can't afford to just be, the tag along to the Bears offense. It can't just be bend but don't break. That's going to be a huge part of it, but you need more than that. And then I'll even say that the depth, what we have as far as at the defensive tackle, Neville Gallimore and Contavious Street have to provide something that this Bears defense is missing. They just have to. So I think when you look at the biggest concerns for the defense, the safety communication. Are we going to have enough consistency in the safeties and the communication that we need there, because we have Xavier Woods, who is a vet, but then rookie Dylan Thieneman. Then you have the uncertainty at the nickel position. Again, nickel is a needed position in football now. It's not just the third cornerback like it used to be. If Kyler Gordon's not ready, that means you're relying on a combination of Malik Muhammad, Josh Blackwell, Cam Lewis to get it done there. And they're going to have to show and prove that they can do it. And then the edge depth. These are the biggest questions for the Chicago Bears team. And how consistently we perform with those areas is going to be very telling on the Bears season defensively this year. And we need to have a defense that can match as much as they can with this offense. We need as many games where our offense and defense are both locked in. Not games where the offense has to save us or the defense has to save us. They're going to have some of that, but more consistency. It's about efficiency from top to bottom with this team, and let's hope that we can get it in this season. But all right, with that said, that's enough of me yapping there. Let's go ahead and get into these voicemails we got for today, man. This one's from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. I had to call in about the Javon Dexter news. Mr. Serviceable himself. I think that the proof is in the pudding with that one. When I saw Vandenberg play, I know it's preseason, I get it. But when I saw Vandenberg play, I just saw him. I saw a athletic defensive lineman firing and exploding off the ball. And I think that Javon, he's a little bit kind of like how we see Roschon Johnson on the offensive side of the ball. We see his size, we see his length, we see his strength, we see what he could potentially be. But when it comes down to in the game, when I saw Roschon get a couple touches, he just doesn't look explosive. And we're used to seeing explosive in this offense out of that running back position. So he just don't fit this scheme, I think. And I think it's the same way with Javon, man. Not to say that kid couldn't eventually someday be a good defensive tackle, but right now, I mean, his ceiling is serviceable, and his floor is a 6th-round pick can come in and take his position. That's his floor, And if a 6th-round pick can come in and out-hustle you, outwork you, and this is your 3rd season going into the league, then, hey, I guess I'll tip my cap to Ben Johnson for just simply playing, we're going to put the best man on the field. We don't give a damn about how much money you owed. We don't give a damn about it being a contract year. We're going to put the best man on the field. And so I'm hoping that we could make a trade where we could potentially get that 2nd-round pick that we wasted on him back. But me personally, I would not give a 2nd-round pick for Javon Dexter if I were a GM. So if we can get a 3rd or a 4th, I'd be happy with that. A 3rd will be fantastic. A 4th is probably more likely what we're going to get. I don't know how they feel about Kyler Gordon as of now, but it might also be a good time to throw him in that package. free up a little money, man. Maybe we can get us a pretty decent pass rusher in here. Maybe the Giants want to let Burns go or something. But I think that we're one impact player on defense away from us being talked about as real Super Bowl contenders. So kudos to just having an organization, man. It's just going to put the best guy on the field. And when you don't perform, you're gone. There's a low tolerance for low performance. No more serviceable guys. We need impact players. So let me know what y'all think. Take us up. Bear down.
Javon's trade rumors right now are just that. They're just trade rumors right now, right? But if the emergence of Jordan Vandenberg, and I'll also say Jaden Loving as well, who, from all intents and purposes, he's had a really great training camp as well. If the Bears feel confident in those two young players enough to say, hey, listen, and I think it's combined with the fact that they know they're probably not going to pay Dex and they move on, great. If those two guys have played well enough to where it's made Javon Dexter expendable, then great. You have guys that are in here. Like you said, for what it's worth, what you see from Jordan Vandenberg, explosion. He plays with that explosion level. And while I don't think every defense tackle needs to be the most explosive to be consistent and good, like if he's adding a dynamic that you're missing to this team and you're better with him in there, then you do it, right? That's just period, point blank. You do it. And we'll see what the Bears end up doing with Javon Dexter. As far as Kyler Gordon, I don't think you can include him in any trade right now. I don't think many teams are going to bite on him until they know that he's healthy. With what's been going on with him both last season and the start of this season, I don't know if you're going to be able to trade him right now. If you can, whatever, if that's what they decide to do. But if not, I think that, Kyler's going to have to be healthy and on the field to show something before teams are willing to bite on that. That's just my thought process on it, but I guess we'll see. Let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one's from Keys.
Yo, what's the deal, fellas? It's your boy Keys, man. Hope all is well with you guys. With that being said, let's get to it. Saturday's preseason game wasn't the most prettiest game, and I think it was just more so they didn't come ready to play. Now, you could be as prepared as possible, but it's up to the players to play. And but there was some bright things that I saw, and I think two things that I saw from the game was Logan Jones, he's able to hold his own, and Jordan Vandenberg. Man, I don't think we can say it enough, Haize. He is the epitome of what you want in a defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you want it to be, and that's how you want it to go, man. It's one of those things where he just keeps playing, and then today Ben bring him up and call him a beast. All you want to do is get your name recognized. Now, I don't know if there's going to be something where he takes the spot of like Javon Dexter or Grady Jarrett, unless one of those guys get injured or we trade or something like that. But eventually he'll be a starter, and I think it's a nice thing to see, and I just like the continuation and growth. As long as he keep playing with technique and he keep going and doing what he do and run like it's his last play and he dive for everything, he'll be okay. And I just look at it, I was like, man, that's a true gem that we got in both of those guys. So let me know what you guys think. As always, Chi-Town up, bear down, y'all.
Logan Jones and Jordan Vandenberg are two players that give you hope in the Bears trenches. And I think that, me and you have agreed on this, Keys. Me and a lot of people have agreed. If you want to be consistently good in the NFL to consistently great, your trenches, you have to have solid trenches. You have to have good to great trenches. If you want to be a great team in this league, your trenches have to be locked in. And, that's good that you have those two players. Of course, Logan Jones, the future center there. Jordan Vandenberg has shown so much as a 6th-round pick. And that's great. Like, if the future of the Bears trenches is locked in these two players and they're going to be a big part of it, great, because both these players have already shown, just because they're rookies, don't overlook them. They're good. And I'm glad that you can bring Logan Jones on a little bit slower. I'm glad you don't have to immediately throw them out there to be the starter. But the expectation is going to be that Logan Jones is the starter next year. And Jordan Vandenberg, if Javon Dexter's traded, best believe all eyes are going to be on Jordan Vandenberg and see, what did he do? What does he do to make that trade worth it? And we'll see, right? And, I think that is really good to get guys in here that you can develop. Having homegrown talent, that's an important part of it. I was getting to this last voicemail, man. This one's from Ant.
Yo, what up, fellas? This Ant, Army vet, calling in about the game yesterday. I ain't got a whole lot to say about the game, to be honest, because, the low effort, low energy like that, it took me out the game, you know what I'm saying? There was a couple of bright spots. I will say this, though. All day Jade, that was one hell of a catch. Like, when they threw it his way, that boy, man, that was a hell of a catch. That's one of those in-season type of plays. If he do that in-season, oh, man, I do feel like Jade is securing that wide receiver 5 job. I can't say wide receiver 4 only because I don't know where Ben is going because Khalif ain't played all preseason. You know what I'm saying? I know he pretty much locked up that wide receiver 3 job. But as far as wide receiver 4, I mean, he can go a bunch of different ways. But if anything, I know Jade for sure, secured him a spot on this team only because Ben just got him out there like the other guys getting reps, in my opinion. I will say this, though. If anybody thinking we going to roll into week 1 against the Carolina Panthers and just dog walk them, this team has been Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to the preseason. The Browns, we rolled over them. The Bengals, we got rolled and we ain't had no energy. The one thing I can say about the Panthers this preseason is that those guys' energy level is through the roof. You can tell through all the games they played. I don't care if they win, lose. It's the energy level. They are bought in with their head coach fully bought in. So that's not a team that we can just say, oh, yeah, we got this. Nah, they bought in. And I'm not one of those guys that's going to be like, oh, man, we doing all this thing and stuff bad in the preseason. Nah, it's the preseason, bro. This is mainly to scout your rookies and your undrafted and your free agents. And this is preseason. This is the depth building season. So I'm not finna jump off the porch and be like, man, we finna have a bad year because we lost to these teams in the preseason. It's the preseason, bro. Relax. I will say I'm with Ben Johnson 100% on how our energy level was in yesterday's game. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I said it while watching the game. Our third down efficiency was terrible yesterday. Terrible. Offense and defense. It was terrible. If we don't pick that up in a regular season, we have a problem. I know the offense can pick it up. The defense last season didn't show that they could do it. But I will say this about our defense, though. I'm not one to jump off the porch because our defense showed last season that they can get stops when we need them to get stops. They won't always get stops, but when we need them to get stops, they get stops. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. As always, Chi-Town up.
Jihad Afro is going to be really, really good. Now, I don't know to what level he's going to be good, but I do think he's going to be really, really good. And I do think he's probably going to be he has a chance to be the clear-cut wide receiver 3 by the end of the season. Khalif Raymond is that at the start because he's a veteran. But I think that, by the end of the season, Jade, you can look at him and say, no, that's their wide receiver 3. And then you could have Luther, Rome, and Jade Walker as your wide receivers 1 through 3. And all these guys were homegrown talent. Luther and Rome, of course, drafted. Jade Walker signed as an undrafted rookie. These guys have been here. And if you're able to do that and add in Xavier Thomas, another guy that you drafted as well, that's also going to play some in that wide receiver 3 and slot. If you're able to have 4 wide receivers on your roster that you drafted and that are all really good and that can balance out the chemistry together, because what I like about all 4 of those guys, they all offer something different, but you can also see where their skill sets complement each other. That's the part that can get really special for the Chicago Bears if those 3 guys end up being the wide receiver room. So, yeah, I hear that, and I love it, and I think that's going to be good. Now, as far as your last part, the Bears are going to definitely have to work for every win this season. Ain't no wins coming easy. They're going to have to work for it until they prove otherwise. They're going to have to work their ass off for every win that they get. Everything that they want, they're going to have to work their ass off for. And I, for one, hope that they do it because, this is going to be a fun team, and it's also the identity of Chicago to be tough and still find a way to get it done. And let's see if the Chicago Bears can bring that identity this season. But that's going to do it for today's episode, y'all. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Making sure you guys sound off down below on how you feel about everything. How do you feel about the Chicago Bears identity now being offense? What do you think? Who do you think needs to step up on the defense this year with all the injuries? Let me know that down below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. You can follow us at Chi Bear Central on every social media platform. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Go Bears. See red, y'all. See red. Chi-Town up. Bear down, y'all. Come on now. Wrong channel. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.